Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex, my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo. And today we want to take a look at UNC draft pick Josh Ezeudu, who potentially could steal the left guard spot from Shane Lemieux and Max Garcia. I think Joe Shane did a good job finding some guys who can compete right now. He grabbed both UNC guards and Marcus McKethan as well. More of a late round selection who might be a developmental piece, a massive human being. I think he's like 6'7" or something like that. But Ezeudu still has some good size. He stands at 6'4" and 308 pounds. He's very athletic. If you watch him play, we have a couple of film clips to show you guys, really showcasing what he can do, especially in the run game. He really hits the gaps hard. He's a smart player, a lot of upside. Mac Brown, UNC's head coach, went as far as to say that he thought Ezeudu could be a first or second round pick next year if he stayed with UNC one more season. But nonetheless, he thought he was one of the best offensive linemen in the country. So the Giants may have landed a steal here in round 3, Anthony. Before we dive into him and what he can accomplish in the NFL, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. And Joshua Ezeudu, I really like him. I think he's got quick feet. I think he's solid as a pass protector, also provides as a run blocker. He's got some game to him, and he actually does have the potential, in my eyes, to be maybe even the starter in year one at left guard. Now, in college, he did play some left tackle. He played mostly left guard, but he kind of split time at those two positions. But going into his rookie season, the Giants have a clear weakness at left guard. This is a position that over the past couple of years they've tried to fix, and it just hasn't worked out. They've tried Nick Gates there. They've tried Bredesen, all these other guys, and of course, Will Hernandez used to play there before moving to the right side, but they just haven't figured it out. And now here we are, 2022 NFL draft. The Giants drafted 3 offensive linemen, of course, Evan Neal in the first round, but in the third round, I really like this selection of Joshua Ezeudu because he is a player that, if not being able to play as a starter in year one, I think down the line, year 2, year 3, he could develop into that caliber of a player. He's got all of the traits, and he had some pretty good production and ability over at UNC. So this is a player that I really like. I'm pretty high on. Maybe, he might have had a 4th round projection. The Giants took him in the 3rd round. Okay, this is a position of need. Sometimes you just have to reach to hit on those positions of need. And again, the Giants had a massive need at left guard, and I really like this pick. This is a player that I think can one day, if not by day one of his rookie season, one day he can turn into a legitimate starter for the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, look, straight up, I think he's already a better player than Shane Lemieux. I mean, Shane Lemieux was a 5th round pick, and he showcased basically nothing in his rookie season. He was the worst pass blocking guard in football. He had some okay snaps in a as a run blocker, but then he got injured last season. He's coming off a partially torn patellar tendon, so that set him back tremendously. The only thing he really has over Ezeudu at this point is his experience. But am I banking on Shane Lemieux to be our starter? Absolutely not. However, that doesn't mean I don't want him competing his ass off and trying to get that starting spot at left guard. I think having a competition battle that doesn't involve Matt Skura, who had never played left guard before in his life, at the position is a really good thing. Max Garcia, Pro Bowl alternate last year. He's not a great player. He's serviceable. He can hold it down. Definitely better than Ben Bredesen. Definitely better than some of the guys they had last year. But, if they have Bredesen, if they have Max Garcia, Shane Lemieux, and Joshua Ezeudu on the roster, I think this is a pretty good scenario for the Giants in terms of letting these guys compete. Let's see what they got, get the most out of them. The Giants have been just giving away starting jobs for like 3-4 years now. It's finally time to have some legitimate competition where, they can compete and get the most out of him. NFL.com kind of views Ezeudu as a good backup with the potential to develop into a starter. That's not to say he won't be able to become a starter sooner rather than later. He ran a 5.19, so not the best 40-yard dash. But again, if you're a left guard, you're supposed to be a little bit bigger, heavier. You're not a left guard because of your speed. You're a left guard because of your power and your agility left to right, horizontally. But he did look like he was moving on his 40-yard dash. Man, he's a big boy. He was moving. So I have to say, I really like this pick. I think that he definitely has starting potential. If you look at the Buffalo Bills last year, they got a lot out of Spencer Brown. I believe he's starting for them now. So they find the Bills and Joe Shane and Brandon Beane, they find starting caliber offensive linemen in the mid rounds. Dave Gettleman whiffed on so many mid round picks. It's hard to fathom. So it's nice to see that we got a player in Ezeudu who legitimately could start right now. And I think that's a really great sign for the Giants. They were able to find a guy like that. His weaknesses range from lack of efficiency and explosiveness into content. I don't agree with that. That's what NFL.com says. He doesn't have explosiveness into contact. You're going to see in the film. Personally, I think he does. He goes in there like a ball with his head on fire. He's like a meatball that just had some freaking tomato paste slapped on him. He's ready to go. So he runs into those gaps and he really lays the oh God, I'm gonna say something that's such a pause right now, but he lays the wood. And I think that it really he is so powerful in the way that he plays, and you'll see like he goes in there full speed and ready to move guys at the second level. And that's what I really like about Ezeudu. Is that he goes 100% every play. And he seems like a good guy. He seems like he's ready to translate to the NFL. He's ready to learn. If he wears glasses, if that means anything to anybody, I don't think it has much of an impact, but he looks like a smart guy. I'm excited to see what he could accomplish, Anthony. But, what are you looking for in terms of him as a rookie? Like he seems to be a good run blocker immediately. He understands his assignments. He can pull across the formation. Are you okay with him being a solid run blocker and maybe having some deficiencies in pass blocking? Or would you rather go with a guy like Max Garcia that might be a little bit more balanced in both?
Honestly, I'm fine going with this, young player that might struggle in one facet of the game, but do well in another facet of the game because that's how they learn. That's how Joshua Ezeudu will get better. He'll get beat in pass protection to learn how not to get beat in pass protection. Game reps, experience. That's how you develop these players. So what am I looking for from him as a rookie? I'm looking for development. If he's on the field, I want to see him fail and then improve upon his failures and get better as the season goes on. If he's not on the field, I want to see that, he's making progress in practice. I want to see these beat writers that claim to, want to get all of the great information for us fans. I want to see them ask questions about Joshua Ezeudu throughout the season, ask questions about his development. How is he doing behind the scenes? How is he progressing? That's the stuff that I want to see from him. I just want to see development, progression. I don't want him to be the same player day one that he is at the end of the season. He needs to be a much better player by the end of the year, whether that shows up on the field because he's playing or if that shows up in practice and the Giants are confident in him going into the next season with him as a starter. That's what I like to see from these rookies, and that even applies to Kayvon Thibodeau, that applies to Evan Neal, that applies to Cordell Flott. I want to see day one that they're not the same player by the end of the season, right? I just want to see development, growth, progression. Of course, with some of these players, you expect much higher growth and progression, much higher development. With Kayvon Thibodeau, you expect him to be a great player by the end of the season. I'm expecting for Joshua Ezeudu, if he's a bad player entering the NFL by day one, I want him to be a decent player by the end of the season, basically. I just want to see some growth and some progression. That's my main goal from pretty much all of those rookies, going into their rookie seasons. I just want to see them grow and develop. And with Joshua Ezeudu, I don't mind if he's better in one facet of the game than he is in another facet of the game, because I just want to see him try to get the other facet up to the standard of the other facet, right? You just want to improve on both sides of your game. You want to be a good pass protector. You want to be a good run blocker. If you're really good at pass protecting, you can look past bad run blocking and vice versa. But for Joshua Ezeudu, as a rookie, the best thing to do is just focus on your weaknesses and improve upon them. And that's all I really want to see from him.
Yeah. And the main problem with Ezeudu at this point in time is that he is a little sloppy with his hands. And his hands and feet aren't always connected. But a lot of his cons are coachable, right? He's a good athlete. He's got good power. A lot of his stuff is just fundamental. His stance, how he uses his hands. He can bear hug sometimes. Like you're going to get called for holding on that. It's all about the coaching staff, Bobby Johnson, helping iron out some of these deficiencies. But let's jump right into the film right now and take a look at what he showed us there. Okay. So right after that, you're going to see he's in the left guard spot, number 75. To me, that looks like good power at the point of attack. NFL.com does not think he has good power at the point of attack. But to me, all these clips showed that we're going to show here, except for maybe one, shows that he's able to move defensive tackles. I mean, he goes head to head and he moves this guy across the line of scrimmage and completely takes him out of the play and opens up a massive running lane for his running back. I mean, that's like, if there's any way to take a defensive tackle away from the play, he shifted this guy 5 yards. Like, this is exactly what you want to see from your left guard. He's moving bodies like 5 yards out of the way. He knocks down, he pushes that guy so hard, he knocks down another guy. And you're going to tell me that he doesn't have the power at the point of attack? That seems like BS to me. I think that was probably a bad review in my opinion, but he seems to have fine power at the point of attack. He's definitely has that Mauler mentality.
Yeah, I think this is a fantastic rep. I love the way that he fires out of his stance, but the main thing that I'm taking away here is the way that he turns the defender, right? The way that he seals him off, because this is a designed run to go through his gap. So he needs to seal off that gap and open it up, right? Because he's opening up this gap for the pulling guard to come through and for the running back to then follow the pulling guard. Now, there's two ways to play this, right? As an offensive lineman, you're either firing out of your stance and pushing the defender backwards to create room, or you're firing out of your stance and you're pushing the defender to the side to seal him off and create this hole. And that's what Joshua Ezeudu does. He plays it the right way, and he does a really good job at it. He seals him off. He seals off the defender, the defensive tackle, and allows there to be an open hole with no chance of this defensive tackle recovering and getting back in the play. That's the main takeaway for me on that play, is the way that he's able to control the defender, not just how he fires out of his stance and how much power he has when he puts his hands on the defender, but the way that he's able to turn and control the defender.
Yeah, I mean, look, he took 2 bodies out of that play, so it looks like he has some good power. Let's take a look here. So here, he does a pretty good job of just shifting this defensive tackle out of his way to open up another big gap. I mean, here he's losing a little bit of leverage to the inside, but he recovers. And here, this is where he wins the rep, right? It doesn't matter that he gets thrown off at the end here. The running back is already gone, right? He won this rep. This is a victory of a rep for Joshua Ezeudu. I would not take the end of this play as anything but positive. He seals him off here, does a great job. Defensive tackle doesn't even see the running back. He's gone by the time he gets there. So really nice job opening up another great opportunity for his offense to take advantage of a huge gap here. And the right guard also does good. And that's, by the way, I believe that's Marcus McKethan. He's the right guard for UNC. So you're seeing 2 Giants players on the field right now. So a good opportunity for you to take a look over at right guard. Another good job pushing him across the line of scrimmage. Really good job. They're 2 very big human beings and probably will become good run blockers at the very least.
At the very least, that's right. And of course, they've also got traits. Something with Joshua Ezeudu that you really like that's translatable to pass protection is he has very quick feet. So when you have very quick feet, even if you're not the best technically as a pass protector, you can develop something like that. Some quick feet can develop into good pass protection. So that's another thing just to point out. We're seeing some great run blocking clips here. And again, this is another one with great power at the point of attack. He kind of gets beat towards the end of the rep. By then, it's like it's too late because he already won the first half of the rep. So you just notice he fires out of his stance. He does a good job. I like the hand placement here too, because you can see when he gets to the defensive tackle and he engages, he's taking control of the chest. Now, I mentioned that on the last play, control at the point of attack, control through the block, not just shoving somebody and, throwing your hands out, but grabbing and controlling. And he does a good job there, controlling that defensive tackle's chest. So again, another really good rep here in run blocking. I'm sure there's a couple of pass protection plays here in the film, but I think we're seeing a pattern here. He is a good run blocker, and he should hopefully be able to have success as a run blocker from day one in his NFL career.
Yeah, I mean, look at this is perfect. This is exactly how you want to see your offensive lineman, your left guard, standing up, little bit of lean forward, has him completely under control, sealed off. There's no way you're losing this rep right now, right? This running back is easily getting through there. Just a really good job. He's a good run blocker. Like straight off the bat, he's going to be a good run blocker for the Giants if he starts. And I think that at the very least, you're looking at Saquon Barkley, you're looking at Ezeudu, and you're looking at Andrew Thomas. Run that to the left side, man. Keep running that ball to the left side and watch these guys work. And Ezeudu loves to get to that second level too. You're going to see that very, very shortly. Let's take a look here. So right here, look, he gets to the second level, gets to that linebacker. I like how he maneuvers through this traffic. Dodges 44, lets him get across the line, and bam, meets him in the middle, and then opens up that gap. I mean, you're seeing a masterclass of run blocking here. I'm sure there are clips that don't have him looking as great, but so far, you're looking at clips of him and what he can do and what his ceiling looks like as a run blocker. And that is where the Giants are like, okay, if he does this pretty frequently and we can get him to do this on 70% of his plays as snaps and run blocking, this is a great opportunity. I mean, watch this. He lifts him off the ground and moves him. He's in the air. This linebacker is in the air for a split second. Look, right here. He literally moves him in the air. Look right there. You see his feet, his little toes dangling off the ground. Like this is great. If you're a Ezeudu and you're the Giants, you're saying, okay, we have an offensive lineman, a left guard who also has tackle experience, mind you, that can pick up linebackers and move them at the second level and open up gaps like this. And he can take on defensive tackles. This is exactly why the Giants are probably so in love with him. As a third round pick. I mean, this is great. Great job. This is
Yeah,
what you need at the NFL level.
yeah, and I want to say I think that's a really great key point that you made. When you're studying NFL draft prospects, you're not really studying how good were they in college. It's how good can they be at the next level. You're looking for the potential. And when you just mentioned, Alex, that you see plays like this and like the plays that we've shown, there are bad plays on his film. There are plays where he got beat as a run blocker and as a pass protector. We know that. Everybody knows that. That's why he was a third round pick and a projected fourth to fifth round pick. We understand that. But when you take a look at the high end plays and you take a look at the potential, you're absolutely right, Alex. The Giants are looking at a play like this and saying, if we can develop him and get these plays to come out more frequently than the bad plays, make this the consistent play, then we're getting a good player, a starter. And taking a look at this play, once again, we're looking at control. I think that's my word for Joshua Ezeudu. That's my number one word to describe him, at least for his pros and his biggest strengths: control at the point of attack. The way he's able to control not only defensive tackles, but also this is an undersized linebacker. He completely tosses him around, takes advantage of his size. He takes him, he controls him, he turns him, once again, sealing off that gap. We talked about that a few plays ago, sealing off that gap, turning the defender and making it so that there is no chance for him to fight back into the play. Sam Howell takes us up the gut, runs through this gap, and of course, Joshua Ezeudu was right there to turn that defender away, give him an easy open running lane. It's a job well done. It shows that he has the strength to definitely take out defenders who are smaller than him. And again, just the control during the block is what really stands out to me.
Yeah, and the quick feet, as you mentioned earlier in the video, his feet are always moving. That's something I really, really liked about him. Let's take a look here. Another great job in the running game. Same game against the Seminoles. Completely takes this out.
And again, I'm seeing very quick feet here. His feet are
Very
chopping.
quick.
They're quick. He's moving upfield. I mean, very quick feet. I see really great knee bend as well. He's getting low. He's not really over his toes, and he's definitely not standing up too tall, too upright. I'm seeing really good bend, and I'm
Great
seeing
feet.
really quick feet.
Really great feet. Rex Ryan would love this guy. That was a good one.
That was a good one. That was a great one.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is what I said when NFL.com says he lacks explosiveness at the point of attack. Yeah, okay. Dude just absolutely mauls this man. Absolutely mauls this man. I mean, this guy, like, that's explosiveness, right? That's power. That is explosiveness at the point of attack. When he's going downhill in a straight line, this dude is an absolute force. I mean, you do not, and that's a big guy. That was not a small linebacker at that back end there. That is a big dude, and he just completely overwhelms him. Number 46. Bam.
Yeah, and I'll say I think a lot of the clips that we've shown have been him kind of firing out of his stance and blocking. I like this play showing him as a pulling guard. Again, you're seeing the quick feet and the agility. I think he's a lot more agile than, his testing numbers might have shown, and he has a lot more speed than his testing numbers might have shown because, when you're watching these clips, game speed, game film, all of that, he's pretty quick. He fires out of that stance and he gets across the line of scrimmage and he makes this block. And I might disagree with you a little bit. I think he had good power at the point of attack here, but I also think that the linebacker did a pretty good job fighting off the initial contact. I think it's the second wave of contact that Joshua Ezeudu really lays the wood, so to speak, to use your pause term from earlier.
This is a big linebacker.
This is a big linebacker. This is not an
dude.
undersized guy. This is not number 20. This is number 45, guy. Right? This is a huge linebacker. And when he fires into the hole and he sees this defender in the hole and he initiates the contact, there is kind of like a back and forth battle that occurs. But Joshua Ezeudu wins the back and forth battle, and he ends up on top of the linebacker by the end of the play. He does put him into the dirt, and that is what you like to see. Because I think the power was there, but the secondary power is what's standing out to me, how he finishes the rep.
I mean, yeah, he puts him on the ground, man. Puts him on the ground. It's great. Love to see it. All right. So let's see this angle here. I believe this is a stunt. So I wanted to include a little clip here to see his recovery, right? Because his left tackle does a horrendous job understanding that there's a stunt incoming here. Ezeudu ends up picking up his man really nicely and staying very, very disciplined. The left tackle ends up spun around trying to figure out, but Ezeudu showcases his discipline. And I wanted to show his discipline here. So this is a stunt. The edge rusher off the edge goes, darts inside. The left tackle follows him, does not pass him off. Ezeudu ends up doing a great job keeping him out. The left tackle does a very poor job. But just picture this as Andrew Thomas and Ezeudu, right? Picture Andrew Thomas passing this man on, because this is how I want you guys to visualize this. Think about Andrew Thomas at left tackle right now, and I'll pause it at the right moment to kind of give you an idea of what I see. Andrew Thomas, obviously a good left tackle. We saw a lot of development last year. Right here, Andrew Thomas passes him on, right? Passes this guy on to Ezeudu, and you'll see what Ezeudu does, and you'll see what the left tackle does here. The left tackle continues on with the block. He needs to pass it on to Ezeudu. Instead, he gets trapped, and he gets totally beaten, spun around. If this is a better tackle, aka Andrew Thomas, right here, he is passing this man on to Ezeudu, who easily takes him on and seals this block off. Really, really, really great job by Ezeudu to remain disciplined and finish his portion of the play. He did a good job. The left tackle messed this up, and he does a great job. This is a great job. I mean, kind of hugs him a little bit, but I think he got away with it. I don't see any penalty flags. Because he got him in the chest play. It seems good enough. He's kind of on the side. But I think ultimately this is I just wanted to show the discipline from Ezeudu in a pass blocking nature against a stunt, right? Because how many times against Will Hernandez or Shane Lemieux or Ben Bredesen or anybody really, or Billy Price, did we see the Giants get beat on stunts? Nate Solder, the guy who was a freaking turnstile on stunts, man. And now we have a guy who, pair him with Andrew Thomas, can actually be a disciplined player when it comes to the Eagles, who run a ton of stunts, always running these stunts to try and take advantage of poor offensive line play and poor chemistry. Ezeudu, I think, needs to be starting, because if you're going to be rebuilding this year, you may as well, give him the chance to earn starting snaps and just roll into the future with that cost control. Like Max Garcia's on a 1-year deal, I believe. So I think personally, I really, really like what I saw from Ezeudu today. I definitely want to do even more research into him to see where the negatives come into play. But so far, I've seen a good run blocking, good discipline in against the stunts, and I'm kind of want to see more. I have a lot of desire to see more of Ezeudu, and I'm going to do some more research, because I think that ultimately everything I've seen has been very encouraging. The Giants clearly have seen a lot of film on him that say, hey, this guy has what it takes to be an NFL player. This guy has shown really good stuff on the tape. He has some clips, I'm sure, that are not good, but if he can show this 50%, 60% of the time in college, good coaching will only make that even better. Fix those fundamental traits, hands, feet, chemistry, put him next to a good left tackle in Andrew Thomas. Guy could be really good. I think that overall, this might be one of the better draft picks for the Giants this year.
I agree. I think he's got starter potential, as I mentioned at the beginning. And on this clip, this is a really tough rep for that left tackle. He kind of does everything wrong. Even his technique in the pass protection, the way he got out of his stance, all of it was just poor. And he didn't pass along the rusher like he was supposed to, as you mentioned, Alex. But one thing that I will mention is you can see the way that Joshua Ezeudu recognizes the stunt. He saw the blitzer coming around, and he just got ready to pick up his guy. And another thing, when you pause it, let me see if I can take control here for a second. When you pause it right here, you see the control once again. Look at how that defender was turned away. Look at how the defender's body is completely turned and how there is now a gap for Sam Howell to run through. Had that left tackle picked up his man, I mean, look at this. There is just green grass all in front for Sam Howell to run. And that's another thing, when you've got a rusher coming from the left side to the right side, right? Joshua Ezeudu could have just kind of like stood there and like stonewalled him and then kept him on that left side, but he doesn't. He turns him to that right side. He controls him. Once again, the control that he has over defenders is something that keeps standing out to me on this film. And I think that's really standing out on this play as well. This is really smart play. This is a very smart play because he's able to pick up the stunt and recognize it. So great instincts there. But then also, this is a rusher that has a head of steam. He's already got a head of steam. So when you're talking about power at the point of attack, talking about anchoring ability, the knee bend, all that kind of stuff, He picks this up very well, and he does have good power at the point of attack to stonewall this defender, and then not only leave it there with a stonewall, he then controls him and turns him. So that's what I really like on this clip. Again, very intelligent play and a very solid pass protection rep. I'm sure we're going to do more film breakdowns on him in the future. Maybe we'll take a look at more of his pass protecting plays, see where he can improve, maybe highlight some of his flaws in the future. But I really like the potential of Joshua Ezeudu, at least as a run blocker. There is very good potential there, and that's what excites me about Joshua Ezeudu. Again, I think that he has the ability to be a starter, maybe even as early as his rookie season, but that remains to be seen. I really hope that he does develop with the Giants. I like the coaching staff that they built. Of course, I love Brian Dable. I'm hoping Bobby Johnson is the guy because the Giants have had trouble at offensive line coach for a couple of years now. Hopefully they solidify that with Bobby Johnson, and hopefully Joshua Ezeudu can develop into a starter as early as his rookie season.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think that there's definitely a lot to be excited about with him. It's going to come down to coaching and development and time and experience. But well, I think we should do a part 2 of Ezeudu and kind of take a look at some more clips and try to find some negatives. We obviously have seen the positives in the run game, seen the discipline in the stunt game. So I'm really excited about him as a player, guys. I'd love to hear your opinions below on the YouTube comments. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this film breakdown and analysis of Joshua Ezeudu. But we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode and have a fantastic rest of your day.